Welcome to the Parkland Report, the show where we talk to the people making things happen here at Parkland College. I'm your host, Stephanie Stewart, the Vice President for Strategic Partnerships and Workforce Innovation. And we have two guests today, one from our Marketing and Public Relations Department, as well as our Giertz Gallery. But first on the show, welcome to Elizabeth Westfield.
Thank you, Stephanie, for having me.
Yeah, so Liz is the new Director of Marketing and Public Relations here at the college. And so we're so excited to have you at Parkland. And tell us a little bit about your journey before you came to work with here at Parkland.
So I'm not technically a townie, but I am a Central Illinois girl. I grew up along the I-72 corridor, came to school here at the University of Illinois, and I guess since the highway ended, this is where I was meant to be. So I've been here ever since. In the way back times, I started in broadcast, so I worked in radio and then went back to campus and started my marketing and public relations journey working at Tech Services and the National Center for Supercomputing Applications. And then prior to here, I spent the last decade at Illinois Public Media. So the melding of my two worlds in the most perfect way, and I love my time there. But after you've been in a place for a long time, you start to ask yourself some questions about what you want to accomplish. But the things that I loved about Illinois Public Media were the community serving sides, the ways in which it served the public, and that access to information and education and bettering yourself and increasing your knowledge of the world is a right, not a privilege. And so when I was looking to spread my wings and this Parkland position came available, it seemed like the next logical step, because Parkland does that in different ways and in many ways, in all the ways. And so I loved being able to continue to meet that personal value and mission with a new institution. And I've loved it in the however many I've been here since April, and all the many months. It's been wonderful.
No, we're glad to have you and for that wealth of experience to sort of come and culminate here at Parkland. And you've already brought such great energy and ideas to your team. And for our viewers who may not know this aspect of our work at Parkland, which is marketing our mission, tell us about the marketing team and who's on the team and what roles they fulfill for the college.
Wonderful, yes. So I love bragging about our team. They make it easy to do so. We have a team of eager creatives that also want to serve that mission and do so in different ways. It's a growing team from what I understand over the last decade or so, because we are serving more internal clients and serving more external audiences as well. So our team is made up of myself and our associate director, and then we also have 3 full-time graphic designers that make everything really sing visually. We have a communications specialist that is the meat and potatoes of the message. It is making sure that people understand the impacts and the programs and the things that we have going on here at Parkland. We have our marketing managers who help our clients, our internal clients, all the departments across the campus, and the many ways in which they want to reach their audiences and communicate with them. Those marketing managers make sure we get to the root of their goals and how we can accomplish them. We also have someone who's dedicated to social media, our social media manager. We have, I believe, 7, apologies, Alex, if I've missed one, social media presence platforms that we use to reach audiences, prospective students, current students, alumni, staff, faculty, any community member really, and that is a full-time job to make content and make messages for that platform. We also have the mailroom and the print shop. So again, kind of the interconnectivity tissue of the college, making sure that people get their mail, which is really important. And also we have an internal print shop. So anything that you need printed, not anything exhaustive, but they really can do a lot down in the print shop for posters and banners. And even if you're driving up and down Bradley, we have a little poster on our sign. We make those here in-house. So it's a great team. It's a creative team. They make my job very, very easy.
Yes, and they do some really great work, and not just from a branding perspective, but also from the different campaigns to highlight all the great people, all of our graduates, and tell tell some stories about how Parkland has impacted our community. So we have a Great Futures campaign out right now. Tell me about what that campaign encompasses and what our viewers can expect in the coming months.
Yeah, so the Great Futures campaign is somewhat still in its infancy. It just got started by my predecessor, Ruthie Counter, last year, and it's this really inspirational idea that all great futures can start here at Parkland, no matter what your future may be. And that can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And I think the wonderful thing about Parkland is it's for everybody. Doesn't matter where you're coming from, but what matters is where you want to go, and we're going to help you get there. And so Great Futures is trying to help people understand that we can be that jumping off point for wherever it is that you want to go. So in our next iteration in year 2, we really want to make sure that the students that we talk to, these can be current students, former students, each individual student has a story that is unique to them, how they came to be at Parkland and where they went from there. But our hope is in those stories, someone can see themselves and see that moment of, well, I can do that too. So we're just making sure that the students that we talk to and the ways in which we share that message are exhaustive to the best of our ability of the wonderful diversity in all of the senses of the word for Parkland. So in the disciplines that we offer, in the students that we serve, and in the futures that you can have. So you might see some billboards with students, fresh faces and fresh perspectives. We are putting together some videos. So the students telling their own stories about how they came to be at Parkland and what that has meant for them and the impacts that it has had on them and where they're off to and what they're doing. And then we also, our communications specialist is working on a monthly series for our website that will also be shared on social media platforms and all the places. You may not see them on a billboard, but we want to share their story. It's just as impactful. So a new monthly story from a different student. So right now we're looking at someone who is in automotive, someone who's in our health professions, someone who is a very successful Pathways student. That is our course program from Parkland to the University of Illinois in political science. We have someone who's looking into computer graphics. So we're just trying to span as many of the disciplines as possible. We also have another individual who is a chemistry student here who now works for ADM over in Decatur. So a lot of great, exciting stories to come for fall and spring. And we can't wait to share their stories.
That's wonderful. Yeah, it's so diverse, the stories that come from Parkland College, and I think that this campaign especially captures that, and hopefully will be something that people can continue to engage in and have fresh content in the coming months. Something else I think is sort of different is all of the different ways that we communicate in this day and age across the generations using all sorts of technology, but then some of the old school methods as well. So where can the public expect to see different ads or messages from Parkland College these days?
Yeah, so they're generally put in 2 different buckets, the traditional versus the digital, but I think it's just a multi-platform approach because there are so many different ways. You might hear about us on the radio, or you might see us in between, game plays and following your favorite sports team. You also might see a billboard or 2, or you're scrolling through YouTube, you might see a story there, or you're following us on Facebook and you're going to interact with us there, or TikTok, all the social media platforms, the broadcast platforms, the coming right to your house and in your mailbox. So we still send our district-wide mailer that will share success stories in its own way. We also have our community ed brochure, which is a wonderful touch point on how Parkland serves the professional development as well as the personal development. Lifelong learning is just ingrained in every aspect of Parkland, but certainly the community ed side of things. So you're going to see it in your mailbox, you're going to see it on your phones, you're going to see it on your TVs, you're going to hear it in the car. We want to be where you are to help show that Parkland can be there for you, or someone that you love too, because there might be someone in your life that's figuring out their next steps, and you can guide them through whatever message you might receive from us too.
It's great. By the end of the year, we'll be inescapable.
In the best way possible.
In the best way possible. What are some trends or new projects that your team is noodling with or working on that are maybe speaking to some of those trends out there to stay ahead of the curve? I know that's one of the challenges with messaging and technology, social media, all of that. What are some of like those new things you guys have your eye on?
Well, beyond Great Futures, which if you're getting into the analytics of things and the trends of things, that's a great brand awareness campaign. That's something that people see a lot of, but maybe don't take initial action, but they'll know to take action when it's ready. And then there's the very targeted campaigns that are going to go for, we can help you become a nurse or what have you. But the trends, I would say, for us and a lot of the conversations that we've had in our office is, and that goes back to the Great Futures Foundation, but also in our social media presence too, students want to hear from other students. And they want the POV, to try to sound like I know what I'm talking about and I'm hip and all that. But they want to know what it's like to be a student here in the discipline that they are interested in. And so how can we do that? Because it needs to be genuine. Trends are fun and wonderful, but if it doesn't come from a genuine place, I think it can fall a little bit flat or just not have the longevity or the success in the call to action side. So to maybe not so much answer your question, but try to answer your question, we follow the analytics, we see what is resonating with people and listen to that, but we also try to always be human first in our approach and student focused in our approach, because trends can come and go, but the student experience here at Parkland is what's going to make, I think, the most impact and speak to what we want it to speak to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we thrive on the human element here. It's what we're all about, that personal touch for your education, but then also in how we can interact with our community.
Because I think that speaks to the culture of Parkland as well. Mm-hmm. There's a real sense of community at Parkland and a real sense of people work here because of the impacts their work can have. And they really do want to see every student succeed in the ways that they want to succeed. And so we want to make sure that that genuinely comes through in our promotions and marketing of Parkland. It is reflective of what your experience is going to be here, and it's also representative of who you might be or want to be, like you see yourself in that, and we want to see our culture and our values reflected through it on both sides.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I think that's such an important piece, that it's what you see is what you're going to get when you walk through the door. So for our viewers, how can they follow us on social media or learn more about the college? I would be remiss if I didn't ask you that question.
Our team would also be maybe not so happy with me tomorrow if I didn't do that as well. So thank you. The plug. So if you are envision your favorite social platform, my hope is that you are going to find us there. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, Blue Sky, TikTok, LinkedIn, and I think that's all of them. You can find us at parkland.edu, and you can explore the various programs that you might be interested in or someone that you know might be interested in. And then, of course, you can come and find us off Bradley Avenue as well.
Perfect. Well, Liz, thank you so much for being on the show. It's a delight. We'll have you on from time to time to give us some updates from the marketing team, but
I would love that.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Well, we'll go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk with Lisa Costello, who's the director of the Giertz Gallery.
My name is Sampan Penlin, but I go by Sam. I'm a townie, so I was always aware of Parkland, and I had decided to get into policing. I came to Parkland and started studying criminal justice. I actually had the opportunity to gain a lot of really good relevant work experience, and I was here from fall of 1999, and then I transferred to Western Illinois University and started my police career up in Joliet, Illinois. I've been at Parkland for about 6.5 years, so it's been nice to support students in the way that I was back then. It feels like home. Great futures start at Parkland College.
My name is Zach Steffen, and my current role is an advanced markets consultant with Country Financial. I chose Parkland out of high school mainly because affordability, and I knew I would get a good education and be prepared for whatever the next steps were. The class sizes are the right size. The faculty is very accessible. I was able to take the skills I learned at Parkland and hit the ground running at Illinois. Ended up graduating in 2012 with a degree in agricultural economics. Great futures start at Parkland College.
My name is Brittany Scott. I went to Parkland College and graduated in 2016. I decided to not go to a four-year school to save some money. I knew I would take the same classes. Actually, some of my classes here were more difficult than my four-year school. I studied general science. I am a civil designer or civil engineer. It's very rewarding to me to see something go from the plans that you drew to being built. Great futures start at Parkland College.
Welcome back to the Parkland Report. This time we're talking with Lisa Costello, who's the director of the Giertz Gallery, and so she can share with us all of the different exhibits that are currently happening and are on the docket for this fall.
Yeah, great. I'd be happy to. Currently we have our art and design faculty exhibition, and that always kind of starts the whole semester. And this year we featured Peg Shaw. So she teaches video and photography, and she's actually retiring this year, so we're really going to miss her. But it's a great show. And we have about 7 other artists in the exhibit, so it's always nice to come and see what our faculty are doing.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of ceramics, a little bit of painting, actually a lot of painting, and then photography, as well as Peg's video and some jewelry. So it's a really nice exhibit.
Very diverse.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
very nice.
Very nice. And then after that, starting October 6th, we're going to have a show called The Great Outdoors. And so that has artists that are kind of dealing with the subject matter of kind of outdoors, like maybe national parks or your backyard, things that are kind of on the edge of being wild, but not quite. So kind of fun ways that they're looking at, the natural landscape and the environment. And so there are 5 artists in that exhibit. And there are a couple of them from Illinois. Patty Chalmers is from Southern Illinois at Carbondale. And then we also have a woman named, let's see, I don't have her name memorized, Beth Shatter, and she's from Highland Park, Illinois. So that'll be really nice.
Yeah. It's a great contrast too to have our faculty exhibit, of course, that showcases just their talent and of the faculty that we have here, who our students get to learn from.
Yeah.
But then for some of these other shows, how are those pieces determined? Like, what is the process for someone to maybe submit their artwork to be featured in
that's
one
a
of
great
those shows?
question.
Yeah.
We have a submission process. So we have online, we do a call for entries, and we use a program or platform called Submittable. And so artists are able to submit their work through there with their portfolio and include their website, because we do look at websites and things like that. So 20 images of their work. Hopefully some have some installation shots so we can see what they look like, in like a actual space. And then their resume and that sort of thing. So we do a call out, and sometimes we have like 300 applicants, so it's pretty competitive.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times what I'll do is I'll kind of go through and think about what I think our students would like, as part of our mission, what our students could learn from it, and then come up with some ideas. So that's how I curated The Great Outdoors. I started noticing some things. I'm like, those 2 artists would be really interesting together, or how would these, and so I'm trying to make sure that we, sometimes we have solo exhibitions, but a lot of times I think it's interesting to see how the artworks or the different bodies of work kind of have conversations with one another. I think it kind of enriches the exhibit and the experience to have that.
That's the behind the scenes magic of how that really comes together and feels cohesive when you visit. So thank you for that. Yes.
Yeah, of course. And then after our Great Outdoors exhibit, which has I think 5 artists in it, we're also going to have a ceramics biennial. So we have that on the years that we don't have a Works on Paper exhibit. And actually last year, Peg Shaw curated our exhibit for photography, and that was really interesting. But this year we have two artists, and that's Tyler Lotz and then Albion Stafford, and they both teach at Illinois State University in Bloomington Normal. And so they've come up with this really amazing idea called Detour. So it's all of these artists that have amazing ceramic skills and then have somehow kind of experimented enough to have all these detours going in different ways that you wouldn't expect with ceramics. So it's going to be really different than a lot of our other exhibitions dealing with, clay and a lot of beautiful glazes and experimental work. So I'm really looking forward to that. So that'll actually be opening on, Monday, November 17th.
Okay.
And I should mention that the Great Outdoors, we're going to have an opening reception, and that's going to be Thursday, October 9th. And our receptions are 5:30 to 7 p.m. So hopefully people can come out and see that. And we usually have a couple of artist talks, so it's always good to check our website, or if you'd like to go join our mailing list, email list or snail mail list, you can find that on our website too. So
it's always so impressive, just the engagement in the arts scene, if you will, here at Parkland, that we're such an integral component of that in our community. But how do you stay connected and sort of engaged in the art world? I mean, there's people from all across the country, right, that are wanting to be part of our exhibits. And then, of course, artists who come and are able to share about their work with members of our community. So what is that engagement like from your perspective?
Well, I try to go to as many exhibits as I can. I'd love to go to Chicago and see what's going on there. I love Art 21, which is a show on PBS that's pretty amazing, talking about contemporary issues. And then, seeing our local artists too is always important. We're really lucky that Champaign-Urbana, I think we kind of take it for granted what a great community we have here. Just this summer we had our Around the Block show. It was our 5th, and we had, I think, 82 artists, 84, and that was amazing. And that's a regional show, so anyone in Champaign County and all the shouldering counties can submit their work, and we're going to do that in a couple of years again. So that's where I get to know a lot of our local or regional artists, which is a really nice experience for me.
That's great. Yeah, and I know a large component of that too is just opening the doors for youth who are maybe interested in pursuing art in a more professional capacity. And oftentimes there are students here at Parkland College, and then they go on to do some great things and may come back and visit us. But what does the youth engagement look like from the gallery's perspective and also the college perspective?
Well, we do a lot of tours. So, any high school is, if they have an art club or a class, are welcome to come to the gallery and have a tour. One thing that we do every year in usually October or November is have our high school art seminar. So we invite all of the high schools in our Parkland College District, 505, and invite the teachers and their advanced art students to come, and they get a tour of the gallery, get to hear artists speak about their work, as well as have 2 workshops with some of our faculty. And then kind of talk to our recruiting or get a campus tour, that sort of thing. And that has worked out really well. I mean, I'm amazed at how many times when I give a tour of our Parkland students, I'm like, has anyone been to the gallery before? And they're like, I came on a field trip, and they attended our high school art seminar. So, some of those students are going to major in art, and some of them are just really interested in it in high school, and they'll come to Parkland and go into a completely different field. But it's a really nice experience. And I think when I first started working here, I was a little bit shy about the high school art seminar, just nervous about being around so many high school kids, but they're all really wonderful. And they're always really engaged in the arts, so that makes a difference. But they usually leave with a piece of jewelry or a photograph or something like that they've made. So it's a really great experience.
Whether or not you pursue it professionally, it's also just part of being well-rounded and having multiple
Exactly,
interests, and it's
yeah.
good to stimulate creativity in lots of different, that can manifest in lots of different career paths.
Yeah.
Great to have those as part of the gen ed exploration, and
Exactly.
then find your path. But
And I'm
we can do that
also,
here.
I'm also amazed at how many people come back after they retire and take classes in the arts. So a lot of ceramics people and photography and painting. So it's really nice to see people when they have their free time. They're
Getting
like,
back
oh,
to your
I
passion."
did this. I was a doctor for many years, and now I'm a clay artist. So it's kind of cool in that way too.
Very good. Things come full circle that way.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So what other shows do we have to look forward to? And I know you brought your
Yeah, I brought my calendar.
Brought your
So, yeah, beautiful. We have a work on the cover of Elva Feeney, who's one of our students who is working in the gallery, and we purchased one of her works from our student exhibition. So our next show after the Ceramics Biennial is a group exhibit called Togetherness. And so that's kind of dealing with the good and the bad of societal connections. And so I think that'll be really interesting as well. That's February 16th through March 31st. And that opening is going to be Thursday, February 19th, if we don't get snowed out.
Oh.
And then after that, we've got our annual Student Art and Design Show. And so that's always a favorite of the community, and we get a lot of people turning out for that. We give out awards. This year, Dr. Pam Lau will be speaking, giving the welcoming remarks, which is always really wonderful. She does a great job at that. And so we give out awards, and that's always a really nice reception. But that exhibit is April 13th through May 9th.
Okay.
And then the reception is going to be Thursday, April 16th. So, yeah.
It's a full slate.
It is a whole slate. And then I've even planned for next summer, we're going to have an all-state juried art exhibition, and that's going to be Illinois artists. So they're welcome to submit their work. We don't have that on our website yet, but we
Sneak
will have
peek.
that soon, for artists to submit. Yeah.
Very great. So if someone is interested in coming to the Giertz Gallery, what are those regular hours of operation if they're like, I just want to go over there, but I'm not sure if they're, if I could just walk in the door. When are people invited to come and take a look at what's on display?
Well, when our exhibitions are opened, we're typically open from 10 to 5 Monday through Wednesday, 10 to 7 on Thursday nights. We're closed on Fridays, but then we're open on Saturdays from noon to 3 p.m. And it used to just be noon to 2, but we've extended those hours because after COVID, we started having a lot of people come in on Saturdays. And so that's kind of stayed as a trend. So that's really nice. We get a lot of community members on Saturday out to see the exhibits. But when we're installing the show, then of course we're closed. So there's always weeks in between each exhibit that we are frantically installing. You'll see all sorts of crazy boxes and paint, we're painting and everything. So that's always a lot of fun too. And then the dust settles and we open up again.
Part of the cycle, but where can they find you on the Parkland website?
We're at parkland.edu/gallery.
Okay.
So yeah, and we're on Facebook and Instagram. We're not on anything else right now.
No Blue Stem or
no
X
Blue
just
Stem.
yet.
Yeah,
Yes.
we haven't gotten onto there yet. But so check us out. We're pretty active on both of those social media sites.
Well, Lisa, thanks again for coming on the show.
course.
It's
Thank
always
you
a
for having
pleasure, and have a lot to look forward to this year.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for today's episode of the Parkland Report. Thanks for spending time with us, and we will see you next time.